I was just in a bad place. And so, I'm trying to find answers and trying to figure out I'm going to have surgery, put my neck back together. So I have a 12-piece metal cage that they implanted to put me back together. But in this process, and even post-surgery, there was nothing that I could find online or in forums or on chat blogs that gave any hope that things would be okay again. And I thought, I know this is a pretty devastating injury, but I'm still alive. I still have a purpose, and I will come back. Not as necessarily an athlete, but I'm going to come back. I want to be able to hug my boys, because at that point, when I broke my neck, I lost full function of my right arm. Like, it was not doing anything. It's all nerve related. So I could still move this, but I'm right-handed. I couldn't drive. I couldn't write. I couldn't hug my boys. I couldn't throw a football to them. And I thought, this cannot be my life. I've got to find a way. So in reading this, I thought, okay, God gave me this experience and this purpose of, yes, you broke your neck. You're going to be fine. You need to use this as an opportunity to give hope to others. Maybe not just someone who's broke their neck, but who has an injury who thinks this is life-changing. And I don't like people dictating the direction of my life. Everyone said, Whitney's career is over as an athlete. I thought, no, I'm not going out that way. That wasn't my plan. So I wanted to heal, and I wanted to get back on stage, not to win. That was never my goal, but to show people you can come back. You can get your life back on track.
Welcome to the Mindset Game podcast. I'm Vered Kogan, and I'm so thrilled and excited to have Whitney Jones here with us today. Whitney is a 3-time Miss Fitness Olympia winner. And for those of you who are not familiar with the Miss Olympia competition, think of it as like a Super Bowl or a World Series of professional bodybuilding, which is so amazing. Oh my gosh. Whitney is also the owner of Pro Physiques, the largest personal training gym in Arizona, as well as owning and running 5 additional companies, such as the Unstoppable 365 Mindset Fitness and Nutrition online program, Fearless by Whitney Jones Fitness apparel line, Whitney Jones Production, which is a fitness event where people can have the opportunity to step on stage and compete. And this is for first-time competitors as well as pro athletes. And of course, the Pros online personal training company that she has. And Whitney, I'm so grateful to have you here. The list of your accomplishments is so incredibly long. We could do the whole conversation just listing all the stuff you've done. I'll tell the audience that she has competed in 35 pro bodybuilding shows and has placed in the top 10 in the world for every single one of them. And that speaks a lot, Whitney, to your, of course, mindset first and foremost, as well as really that effort that you put in to achieve these accomplishments. And you've been such an inspiration to me personally. We met through the Genius Network.
Yeah.
And you really have inspired me to become more consistent with my own fitness, with what I eat, just being much more mindful and also compassionate with myself when I shift a little bit, right? And kind of redirecting back to my habits. So thank you for that. And welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. And yes, I've loved connecting with you. And every time I see you, you're like this ray of sunshine, that's my vibe. So I'm always just kind of attracted to you to be like, oh, I need you in my life. So this is an honor to be on your podcast.
Oh, thank you. So how about we jump right into mindset when it comes to health and fitness? Like, how important is mindset?
For me, it is the number one. And that's in all aspects of life. I wish I knew how powerful mindset was way back when, because it would have propelled me to be as successful as I could be way back then. Now, I learned it later in life, and I learned the power of really you positioning your mind to achieve whatever you want, because that is the number one factor in success. If your mind's not there, it will never happen. And I challenge anyone to battle me on that, because it is 100% the truth. If you do not have the right mindset, you will never achieve top level success, accomplishments, happiness, unless you have your mind in alignment with what you want to do.
Yeah. So, how do you define mindset? So, you talked about kind of positioning our mind for success. What do you mean by that?
It's blocking out the noise, blocking out the negativity, blocking out the doubts, recognizing the fear and embracing it and just facing it head on. So mindset is really kind of it's all encompassing because there's a difference between saying I have a powerful mindset, but you truly have to live and breathe it. You have to allow yourself to go, I can accomplish XYZ. And it may seem completely crazy or what you want to achieve. But if your mindset is locked in, you have the belief to do it, you have a path to achieve it, then you can actually accomplish it. And you have to have that strong mindset so that anything that's thrown your way, it's not going to derail you. It may pause you for a moment where you got to take a deep breath and go, okay, wasn't expecting that, because that's just life. Let's be real. It doesn't just go smooth, or I don't know anyone that it just goes smooth for. But when you have a powerful, focused mindset, these bad things that are thrown at you or these curveballs are not going to derail you. It'll pause you for a moment, but then you stay right back on track because you know what you're capable of. You know what you're about. You know your purpose. You know your worth. So any of these other things are never going to take you down.
So, can you share with us an experience where maybe you had a moment of some doubt or, can I do it? Or is this the right path for me? And what helped you to get focused and position your mindset for success?
Sure. So I am a professional athlete. So I do a division. I'm in the bodybuilding umbrella, but I do the fitness division. So I actually don't get on stage and flex or anything, where everyone thinks, oh, bodybuilding. I do the fitness division where we're judged on a 2-minute performance, and it's backflips and dancing and plyometric skills. And I do break dancing. So that's the division I'm in. That's the division and the title I've won. They obviously judge your physique. You do have to be in shape. But my division is kind of an extreme sport. So it does come with a lot of injuries. I mean, each year you're trying to compete at the top level against the best in the world. So when I'm choreographing my routine, I'm trying new skills. Well, like I said, it comes with injuries. So one year when I was getting ready for a competition, I had an accident. I actually broke my neck. So, that's a pretty significant injury. And it was about halfway through my career where everyone said, she's done. She'll never be able to compete again. Now, granted, I'm a single mom of 2 boys, and my biggest purpose was I can't be disabled. I can't be injured. I need to come back because I need to be a mom for the rest of my life. I also need to run businesses. I need to be capable. And being an athlete was good, but again, that wasn't my number one focus. However, as I'm awaiting surgery, because there were some complications with insurance, I was just in a bad place. And so, I'm trying to find answers and trying to figure out, I'm going to have surgery, put my neck back together. So I have a 12-piece metal cage that they implanted to put me back together. But in this process, and even post-surgery, there was nothing that I could find online or in forums or on chat blogs that gave any hope that things would be okay again. And I thought, I know this is a pretty devastating injury, but I'm still alive. I still have a purpose, and I will come back. Not as necessarily an athlete, but I'm going to come back. I want to be able to hug my boys, because at that point, when I broke my neck, I lost full function of my right arm. Like, it was not doing anything. It's all nerve related. So I could still move this, but I'm right-handed. I couldn't drive. I couldn't write. I couldn't hug my boys. I couldn't throw a football to them. And I thought, this cannot be my life. I've got to find a way. So in reading this, I thought, okay, God gave me this experience and this purpose of, yes, you broke your neck. You're going to be fine. You need to use this as an opportunity to give hope to others. Maybe not just someone who's broke their neck, but who has an injury, who thinks this is life-changing. And I don't like people dictating the direction of my life. Everyone said Whitney's career is over as an athlete. I thought, no, I'm not going out that way. That wasn't my plan. So I wanted to heal and I wanted to get back on stage, not to win. That was never my goal, but to show people you can come back. You can get your life back on track. And so that became my purpose, to show people it will happen. And number one, to provide hope. I wanted the next person who went through a devastating injury or a career ending injury to be able to Google, anything like, oh, broke my neck. Is there any hope for me? Whatever it is that they were typing in, and find my story and go, holy moly, this girl did it. So that became my purpose. So I ended up having surgery 9 months to the day. Well, one day short, but almost to the day. I was back on stage at the Arnold Classic competing. To make matters worse, 4 weeks going into it, I had another accident doing a backflip and I blew out my ACL, tore my MCL, tore my meniscus. So I didn't have much function of my upper body because of the neck surgery. I now had one leg that was just incapacitated. So I had to do a 2-minute performance with one leg. And that takes away all the skills that I had in my box of tricks. And I had to come up with a routine. So 4 weeks out, when I blew out my knee, the doctors were like, there is no way you can do this. And I said, no, I have to. My goal is to show people you can come back, you can overcome. And I may not be at my best, clearly, but I have to show up. I have to be able to do this. And in my mind, I knew I could. Why? Because that was my purpose. I ended up winning the world title at that event with one leg. And it's like, people are like, how did you do this? Mindset. Because physically, and if you looked at me on paper, there would have been no chance I should have even been able to compete. 9 months after breaking my neck and 4 weeks out from the event, tearing my ACL, I should have just never competed. Most people would have never competed. If they can't be at their best, they won't do it. And I just have a different mindset. I just need to show up and I need to do the best of my ability at that moment. And I just had a drive to show everyone you can do it. And that drive and that fire is what allowed me to win, because I presented something that no one had ever seen. I mean, who can do a 2-minute routine with truly one leg and make it look decent? And so I came up with what I could do. I only focused on what I could do and ignored the hundreds of skills I could not do. And I created something just saying, I'm coming here to show up. I don't care about the result. I don't care if I'm in last place. I am showing up. I want to show people you can come back. And then lo and behold, I ended up winning the entire event. And that was my first ever world championship title. Yeah, kind of crazy.
Crazy and extraordinary. And I mean that because it really is extraordinary, not ordinary to have that type of number one, a higher purpose for doing what you did, having that fire, that determination, that belief that you can come back, detaching from the outcome of having to be number one or to be perfect, just really showing up and doing your best in service of inspiring others. And I believe that when we have that type of a mindset, that there is, let's call it additional energy that's available to us.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're not really in our head about, things have to be a certain way. When we're detached a little bit from the form of how things need to be, and we really just show up when in a higher place with love, it's allowing us to be much more resilient. It allows
Yeah.
us to be able to overcome, as you said, things that show up because we just believe that we're
Mm-hmm.
meant to do this. So tell us a little bit more for those people listening, like, how did you get to that place? Because there are some people that are listening that may already be there. They've got the momentum, they've got the drive, they've got the higher purpose, and they're going, and they maybe need a little bit of help to stay consistent or to to pivot and optimize. And then there's some people that are really not there yet.
Yeah.
So, and in any area of their life, not just with regards to health and fitness. So what tips do you have for those individuals to really kind of get their mindset positioned in the right way for them to be able to do the things that'll help them to build momentum?
Sure. I always kind of go back to it always is on us. And a lot of times when we're in a bad place, we give a lot of other people power to help lift us out. And to me, that's the worst thing you can do because that takes the control away from us. So the one thing every human craves is control. We need to be able to control our happiness, our success. But in reality, life is going to throw so many things at us that we have zero control over. So if we stop focusing on all these things we can't control and like have tunnel vision on what we can control, then we take control back of our life. So, a lot of times if you look at when people are in a bad spot, it's all these things they couldn't control and it just digs them deep into a hole. So the one thing you can do is recognize I have the power to control my own life, to control what I'm doing each moment. Now, it's easy to say, don't be depressed. Don't be sad. Come on, just get yourself out of it. That is like trying to go 0 to 60. So for me, when I'm in, when my life takes these roller coaster dips, I focus on very little minute steps. And all those things create big changes. So, if it's a matter of going, okay, I don't feel like doing anything today. I'm just so down. I feel like no matter what I do, life just keeps kicking me in the face. Then I go, okay, what can I control? I can control if I get up and I go take a walk and just try to enjoy fresh air, listening to the birds, listening to some of my favorite songs. I can control trying to set the tone for my day. Even if that's all you do for the day, that is a small win. And at certain points, those small things just add up to big changes. So it's hard when someone's in a bad spot to go, just stop being unhappy, be happy. No, you've got to give like little steps. So it could be something as simple as I'm not going to allow any negative talk for the first 2 hours. I'm not going to just discount myself. I'm not going to find flaws, getting ready in the morning and going, oh my gosh, my hair is so ugly. I've got this ugly face, or I have no cute clothes, and just stopping negative talk for 2 hours even, that can change your day. So at the very least, it's little things that you can control where you're trying to improve yourself. For me, one of my biggest things is if I'm kind of having a blah day, I find laughter. So I have a folder on my phone of memes that I love. So if I'm just like, say it's crazy chaotic at work, I literally go find some quiet space and I will go to my meme folder on my phone and I will laugh. And 5 minutes later, boom, everything is transformed. And something as simple as that is what I found works for me. It just takes you out of this, oh my gosh, everything just keeps getting worse today, and allows you to go, all right, I feel like I just took a deep breath and now I can move about my day. So that's one thing. Another thing I always say is if I'm in a bad place, I have this motto, H2G2. I don't have to, I get to. And, again, it's not the first time people have said it, but I have it on the mirrors all over my house. I have it in my boys' rooms. We need to constantly be reminded of the things that we can be thankful for, because no matter what bad position you're in life, there's always positions that could be worse. And as soon as you can kind of recognize that, it makes you feel a little better. Now, it's bad to focus on people who are in worse circumstances, but you need to have some gratitude in your life that things aren't as bad as it feels. And then switching that negative talk from I have to I get to. For example, I have to take my kids to school. No, you get to. You are so fortunate that you have 2 kids. People are trying to have kids all the time and they can't. So be glad that you get to take your boys and you have a vehicle to take your boys to school, and that you're in a place where they get to go to school. So if you change those 2 words and you flip it, it changes your perspective. It takes the negative connotation out of all of it and puts your brain back into that positive space of gratitude and appreciation. And again, helps even a tiny bit lift you out of that dark spot to go, okay, I can handle today. So for me, it's always little baby steps every hour, maybe every day, as much as you can. And that's what helps people, who are in a bad spot to slowly get out of it. And that's just a realistic blueprint to say you can do it. Don't expect unrealistic changes that you're super depressed today and by the end of the day, you're going to be absolutely fine. That's not typically reality. And that may not be something that they can sustain, but trying to focus on little things each day that you can control and you can feel proud of and gratitude for, that's going to help you no matter what. I promise you.
Yeah, these are great tips to help people to break out of, that negative self-talk or just negative habits. And as you were saying, kind of the shift from have to get to, thinking of, okay, I have to go work out today, right?
Yeah.
I get to go work out today. I get
Yes.
to, because I have a body that's working, that's functioning. I can get myself there. I can, I've got support, whatever that might be.
Yeah.
And I think that, it's easier to have a mindset of success when that's been modeled to us in those areas of our life. So for example, with regards to health and fitness, in my situation, that was never really modeled. Neither my mom or dad ever, that I can remember, worked out. Like, I mean, they would go for walks from time to time, but there was never, I was never an athlete as a child. I mean, I did some gymnastics and ballet as a little child, but I mean, it was never like a thing in my life. I had never lifted weights until maybe 3 years ago in my life. So, what advice do you have for people who are almost like going against, their programming with regards to health and fitness? Maybe they didn't, grow up in a family where even nutrition, being mindful of what we eat and do, was modeled to them. What can they do to start and build some momentum in that direction?
Again, it kind of goes back to baby steps with it, where I get clients who they may be in their 40s. They've never once been to a gym. They've never once followed a diet, and that's okay. The fact that they care now is great because let's be real, as we get older, we are going to start having medical issues. If your diet's not somewhat on point, you're going to start having issues. If you've never been exercising and never been active, your body's going to start having issues, from joint pain to heart issues. You're going to have blood pressure issues. I mean, whatever it is. So as we get older, sometimes that's when people start paying attention to it. And it's like at the end of the day, we don't want to, or I don't know anyone that wants to be, told they've got to be in a wheelchair for the rest of their life, and they're going to have all these limitations into their, degree of happiness in everyday life. But again, you can control that. You can choose how those later years in your life are going to be by what you do now. So sometimes kind of placing that fear in people to say, it's not going to get easier. We don't stop aging. But if we can age gracefully, where our quality of life is amazing, that's what people want. No one wants to be told you're going to end up in a nursing home, being cared for, and being bedridden. That doesn't sound amazing. But if you can create a better path and a better quality of life as you age, then of course that's what people want. So again, if you're not used to being active, go for a walk every day, even if it's 20 minutes. Because for someone who's not used to working out, trying to say, go to the gym and lift weights 3 times a week, they're probably going to get injured. They're going to be so sore that they have zero desire to go to the gym because they hate that feeling. Or trying to tell someone, hey, you need to follow this strict diet. That's typically what doctors do when you are in a very intense medical situation, right? And those strict diets are horrible. So why don't you just start trying to be mindful of better eating, decreasing the sugar, trying to get more protein in your diet and making every meal focus on getting protein in your breakfast, lunch, and dinner first, and then adding some carbs and fats, or just getting someone to kind of help draft a very simple meal plan with options so that you can go, okay, I can choose XYZ or XYZ. and just having someone help guide you. Because if you're not used to doing it, having guidance by someone who knows what they're doing is truly crucial so that it creates a plan that's realistic and is easy to sustain. So, for someone who's struggling with it, I highly recommend working with someone who can help you and who isn't going to try to put you on a plan that goes 0 to 60, because that will not last. It never does. And obviously, I mean, that's what I do. That's what I'm happy to help people do. Even working with serious athletes who are regimented to the 10th degree, they still need help. Even myself, a pro athlete, and I coach athletes, I coach clients, lifestyle. I still need help. I still need coaches. It's all about accountability. But finding someone to be your partner and your support in it is what will help you be successful. But you need to do it in a very realistic pattern.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of the things that you've mentioned there, first of all, this concept of choice, right? Having options, even in the sense of a choice of I'm choosing to live the rest of my life, right? Or as I get older in this way rather than this way. So the concept of that freedom to choose and the responsibility to choose is really important. Now, my question for you now is around mistakes, because, I imagine you've seen all kinds of mistakes that people have made that maybe have led to injuries or to other issues. What are kind of like the top 3 or 5 mistakes that you see athletes or people wanting to be healthier make that they can avoid?
Gosh, well, it's not just other people I've seen. I've made plenty of myself too, but that's where you learn, right? So some of the biggest lessons I've learned is paying attention to your body and listening to it. So, I've had a lot of injuries because I wasn't always listening to my body, or I wasn't properly preparing for a workout with stretching or doing recovery, even post workout. So when I'm in competition prep for one of my big events, I may have 4 hours of choreography practice doing my routines and doing these jumps and these flips. My body is beat up. If I don't properly stretch out for that, or I don't do proper recovery, getting body work regularly, I do ice baths to help with the inflammation, I do a cool down, like a warm down post workout. That's one thing, especially as we age, it's crucial. And as I was younger, I could go and get ready for a track meet and not even stretch out. And now I think about it like, oh my gosh, that's insane. So when we're younger, we can get away with a lot. But as you get older, it's very important that you include a warm up to get you going for your workout. And again, it doesn't need to be, 30 minutes. It could be 5 minutes, just preparing your body and priming your body for the workout so that you don't have injuries, so that you don't tweak a body part that puts you out of commission, and then properly warming down. And, if you are going to the gym and you realize, gosh, my shoulder is just hurting. Well, guess what? Don't do shoulders. Maybe it needs to be a lower body day. Even though your plan said it was going to be an upper body day, you got to listen to your body. That's one of the biggest benefits that I would say is that I've learned the power of warming up and recovery with all aspects of any activity. No, if it's just a simple, like kind of walk around, I even need to kind of warm up, stretch my calves, just get the blood flowing. And then obviously nutritionally, fueling your body properly is a big thing that so many people I work with, it's not that they're eating bad. They just don't realize what it is their body is required to feel the best, to fuel their metabolism. So I get people who eat salads and fruits and vegetables, and they have a good protein meal in the morning. But then throughout the day, they make some simple mistakes. So it's very important that you learn your own body. Everyone's bodies are different. For example, for me, I can eat a ton of carbs. My body is fortunate that it can tolerate tons of carbs. Fats, not so much. So I don't feel well if I don't have a certain amount of carbs. My body doesn't function well. My brain isn't as crisp and sharp if I am decreasing my carbs too much, and if I have too many fats. So it's almost like you need to find this experiment with your body to figure out what it is your body specifically needs to feel its best, to keep you feeling full so you're not hungry all the time, to keep you performing at your best. So those are crucial elements in regards to nutrition. And then we all say it and it's silly, but sleep and water. You need a lot of both of them to be able to just think clearly emotionally. If you are feeling blah, you've got to make sure you're getting adequate sleep. Getting properly hydrated helps keep headaches away, helps keep you feeling full. It's like a reset and a way to kind of detoxify your body. So water and sleep, as simple as those things are, they're huge in regards to making you feel and function at your best.
So what about like when we have cravings? So, many people are hearing what you're saying and they're like, yes, I do my best to eat well. I could probably use some help to make sure that what I am eating is what my body actually needs and that's best for me. But like I get these cravings. So I even speak personally. Like I have a thing where at night I like to snack. So I try to snack on like healthier things,
Yeah.
but it's a thing. And so how do I overcome that?
No, it's a normal thing. And I'm the same way. So I have massive sugar cravings and I do try to kind of combat that. But let's be real. Like, you're not normal if you don't have cravings, or if you're lucky enough and you don't, it's probably just a short term thing because that's just not reality. Whether it's salty, like savory stuff or sweets, we have cravings. One of the biggest things is discovering kind of what it is that your body needs is the number one way to combat cravings. So my cravings are worse if I haven't eaten well throughout the day. If I've eaten pretty decent and had very, moderate meals with a good mix of proteins, fats, and carbs in each meal, or haven't gone too long without eating, I can control my cravings at night. If I have a crazy busy day and I go, say, 5 hours between meals, I know my cravings are going to be bad that night. Or if I didn't have, a very complete meal where it's just kind of snacking throughout the day, my cravings are going to be fired up later that day. So it's finding out what your body needs and eating moderately throughout the day. That will always keep your cravings a little bit more under control. But the reality too is our brains are not wired to say, we will never have that. Our willpower is so strong. So it's a matter of going, okay, I'm having sugar cravings. But like you said, I'm going to choose healthier options. I'm going to, obviously have something because that's okay, but keeping it, within in check so that you don't go completely hog wild. So it's okay to do that because the more we're told we can't have it, the more we want it. So if it's like, Whitney, you can't have any sugar all day, all I'm going to do is think about sugar. And that's all I'm going to want. And eventually I'm probably going to give in and then it's going to be a train wreck. So you do need to acknowledge it to some extent. But if it is a situation where people are like, I go to have one Oreo and then I eat the entire package, then you probably should never have Oreos in your cabinet. That's a trigger. But maybe there's a cookie that you do like, but you get sick of it after a couple. Use that as one. Or have it all portioned out so you can have a little, a Greek yogurt with some fruit and granola at night, because that gives you a sugar craving. It curbs your craving and makes you feel full, but it's something you enjoy and it's just one cup. So it's finding what works best for you that doesn't completely derail you. And, with most of my clients I train, it's mandatory that you do once a week cheat meal or untracked meal, because that's what keeps you all in check for the whole week. That Friday I'm going to go on my date night with my husband and we're going to choose whatever restaurant we want to go to that week. So it keeps you accountable all week to eat healthy so that you deserve that one. So you have to have fun. You have to be able to live life. I'm a mom. So when it's my kids' birthday parties, I'm having cake and ice cream with them too, and probably pizza. So, you schedule these times that you can just have whatever you want, because the rest of the week you're going to eat healthy. Or sometimes you may have 2 days in a week, based on whatever it is. But you get back on track, you're staying active, you're eating healthy the rest of the days. So then you don't feel that guilt. but you've got to be able to allow your body to feed into some of these cravings. Otherwise, it ends up typically being way worse.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. And what I'm hearing is it's a lot of it is around balance and just being
Mhm.
able and not again being overly focused on perfection because
Yeah.
that can, have a negative impact later on. So what are you seeing as like some of the biggest fears or, sources of resistance for people to get healthy or to stay healthy?
The biggest fear and resistance, I would say easily, is it's too hard. And it's really not. It's like, is it hard to go and sit in a hospital bed for 3 days? Yeah. And that's going to cost you a fortune. So be proactive now and do what it takes 20 minutes a day to prevent ever having to be in the hospital and feeling awful and paying these astronomical hospital bills because you chose not to be healthy. Anything worthwhile is hard. So it can be hard at a level 10 if you choose, or you can choose to just get going. So it's all excuses. I mean, the thing is, I look at it as for anyone that's a parent, raising children, everything to them is like, I can't. And it becomes our job to say, yeah, you can. It's not that hard. They don't know it yet, though. They're young. They don't realize getting up and going to school. Yeah, it might be hard because you're tired. You got to do it. You've got to do it if you're going to get a good education and become something in life. It's the same type philosophy. Quit making excuses. You're the one who is getting in your own way. So just trying to help people understand it's not going to be easy, but you don't have to make it that hard. And again, working with someone to say, okay, realistically, people don't have 2 hours a day to go to the gym. So if your trainer that you're working with is like, this is required, the resistance is going to be ridiculous, right? They're going to say, there's no way, I quit. So it's finding a plan that works for that person, works with their lifestyle, works with their current activity level, and finding a plan that works. But it's typically the resistance. Oh, I know I need to do it. I don't have time.
Mhm.
Everyone has 20 minutes. Everyone has 20 minutes that they can go for a walk. And that's something's better than nothing. So, and once you kind of get these patterns in place, then your body does crave more. It's it's proven your body craves more the more consistent you are. So it's just starting it and just saying, stop making excuses. What would you tell your own child? What would you tell your spouse? What would you tell your best friend if they were the one going, oh, I can't do it because, and the same thing is it's either time or money that are people's biggest resistance to doing what's best for them. But again, if you don't have money, then are you going to have money later to pay for all the medications that you're going to need to be on because you're so unhealthy? So again, there's very cost-effective ways to do things. People don't have to go 0 to 60. You just have to start. You need to be mindful about moving more and making better choices in regards to what you put in your mouth.
And how important is accountability? I know for me, I'm part of a gym where there's accountability. I sign up for my class and I know I need to be there, and it's
Yeah,
less likely that I'm not going to show up because I'm going to be charged if I don't show up.
totally. Yes.
And I know the people who are going to be there, and it's nice to see them. So how important is that, do you think?
It's crucial. And it's the reason too why some of my top trainers that I work with and that I know in the sport, it's why we also need trainers. You need to be held accountable. You need someone to call you out on your BS if you're making excuses. But you also just need that support. So like you said, you may be exhausted and you do not want to go to the class you signed up for, but you invested in it, so you're not going to waste money. You always feel better when you're done with it because you're proud that you did it. You got a good workout, you burned a bunch of calories, and you saw your friends there. So it's important to surround yourself around people who support you, who may join you, so that on the days you don't want to go, they can go, no, we're going. We said we're going to do this. You're going to meet me there. So it's huge to have that accountability. It's why I do what I do. It's why my profession even exists. Because again, you could Google a diet, you could Google a workout routine, and you could do it. That usually never works because you need someone to hold you accountable to say, hey, remember that program you said you wanted to start a week ago and you still haven't started it? It's time to start it. And I don't even, like you said, with investment, I will never train friends or family for free. I've learned the hard way. The ones that have nothing personally invested will never follow it. Never follow it because they're not invested in it. If it's given to them for free, it loses its value, it loses its power. So I have learned I have to charge my friends and family because otherwise it's a waste of their time. Not a waste of their money because they got it for free, but they're never going to get results. There's nothing that they have personally invested in that they are willing to lose. So when you haven't invested in anything, who cares if I don't do it? But accountability is crucial. It's what helps us do what we say we want, to do what we say we're going to do. Because no one likes to be called a liar. No one wants to be called a quitter. But you've got to have someone in your ear, on your shoulder, constantly going, hey, remember you wanted this because. And it's important to identify a why. Are you doing it because you want a better quality of life? Are you doing it because you need that stress reliever from work so you can go and just think about nothing else for 30 minutes and just allow the endorphins to come out from your workout so you can feel better and less stressed before you go home to your family? There is a why for everyone as to why they sign up for a gym or they sign up for a nutrition and diet program. There is always a why. It's reminding that person of why they started in the beginning and bringing them back to their core to say, don't give up on yourself.
So as we complete here, I have just a couple of questions. If you can give us like top 3 tips for nutrition, top 3 tips for fitness.
I'd say for nutrition, almost everyone is not eating near enough protein. So you need that protein because people just want that lean, toned look. Well, men, women, you name it, almost every client that I start with, they're not eating near the amount of protein. So every meal, if you can think about making sure there is protein in your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, and even your snacks, that is going to do you tremendous favors and benefits just by making protein your focal point. Also, I'd say make sure to get a gallon of water a day in. So try to have that benchmark, that halfway point in your day, see how much water you've drank, because you got to think of it as a marathon, not a sprint. So you don't want to down half a gallon of water right before bed because you're going to be up every hour in the middle of the night going to the bathroom. But if you can get water in throughout the day, it helps keep your metabolism going. So you think about your body like a car. Your car needs gas. It's not going to move if it has no gas. So if you're constantly drinking water, your body is this machine that just keeps burning, 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 burning. So water is one way that, number one, keeps you feeling full, keeps cravings at bay, and helps you to keep your body moving and burning. So again, that's something simple. And then nutritionally, just trying to curb sugar. That's, like I said, that's my downfall. The best time that you can do it is a little bit before a workout and after, because it helps fuel your workouts. And then it helps some of that sugar post workout, within 30 minutes, helps so that you can recover from your workout, your muscles feel better, you have that energy. So that's another thing. If you're going to have sugar, try to time it around your workouts versus late at night. And then exercise-wise, stretching, getting body work, doing recovery, whether it's kind of stretching, doing some foam rolling, doing ice baths or saunas or jacuzzis. That's a big one, just to prime your body. And then listening to your body so that you're not going too crazy. A lot of times people go into the gym and they just want to lift heavy, or they remember, back when I used to lift 20 years ago, I could lift X amount of weight. No one cares anymore. Again, as we get older, you just want to be able to be toned. No, we're not breaking records here. I mean, unless you're in a powerlifting contest, but just use a weight. Don't worry about impressing anyone. People are surprised. They're like, you lift lightweight, like 5 pounds I do a shoulder circuit with 5 pounds and it burns me out. And people are like, 5 pounds? Yeah. So you don't have to lift super heavy and you're going to be just fine. And then just getting active. Again, if you can start your day with a simple walk, or, I have a treadmill here at my house. I just use that almost as a meditation in a way to get my body going, helps me think about what I need to do today, having gratitude, waking up, what am I thankful for, and just putting your mind in the right place every day so that you can conquer and accomplish everything you want to.
Thank you. And last question, what would you say to the younger you that hadn't yet accomplished all that you have accomplished and doesn't know the things that you now know? If you could speak to her, that younger you, what would you say to her?
I wish I knew the power of stepping out of your comfort zone and being fearless. I think the way I was raised, it was just middle class family. Everyone works. If you're lucky, you go to college. I didn't grow up just tons of money in my family. We were grinding and working. And again, that's what helped give me my work ethic. But it was like at that time, we were all just told this is the path. You go to school, you get an education, you get a job, you get married, you have kids, and you just work for the rest of your life. And there was never the thought of, what do you want to do? What do you want to be? Like, reach for the stars, dream big. There was never that instilled in us. And gosh, it's like, once I realized the power of, I don't have to do this path that like everyone is supposed to do. Why can't I break out of it and go, I want to do XYZ and something completely outlandish? Because you think about it as a child, what do you want to be? I want to be an astronaut. I want to be the president of the United States. Everyone says, oh, that's so cute and amazing. As you get older, everyone tells you why you can't do it. You can't be an astronaut. Do you know how much education you have to go through? And you can't be the president of the United States. I mean, that's just ridiculous. So everyone tells you why you can't do it. I would love to say, block out the noise, be fearless in everything you want to achieve, and try it. If you fail, guess what? There's a lesson in there, and it's not a failure if you learn something from it. So reach for the stars, and you never know what can come of it. Keep your mind open, recognize and take advantage of every opportunity, because why live with any regret that you shoulda, woulda, coulda? I don't want that, and I wish I would have known that years ago, but I live and breathe it now, and honestly, that's what matters now.
That's right. And you've given the rest of us that important reminder, because it's never too late at any stage in life to
Nope.
pause and ask ourselves, what do we really want? And
Exactly.
yeah, so thank you for that. How can people learn more about your amazing businesses, your programs, your gym?
Well, so right now you could go, I have a website, Fit Whit Jones, so FITWHITJONES. That's some information for you. You can reach out to me. My program that I'm really passionate right now about is Unstoppable 365, because that focuses on everything fitness related, but also mindset, personal development, professional development. So that is a program that we do weekly calls. It's an amazing community. And then, of course, Instagram is probably the biggest social media platform that I'm most active on. And that's Whitney Jones _IFBB Pro. And, shenanigans and funny memes and, obviously educational and knowledgeable content that will help you, but a lot of fun too.
Well, thank you, Whitney, from my heart, because I told you this before we started to record, that you really inspired me to become more consistent about my own health. I've been working out consistently, eating well, more protein, all the stuff that you've taught me. And I'm so grateful for that. And of course, for everything that you shared with our community here today. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I love it and look forward to seeing you as often as I can.
Hi, Game Changers. I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Whitney Jones. She is truly the real deal, and she has some amazing resources online if you want to learn even more about how to cultivate that fitness mindset. I also invite you to check out episode 130 with Nick Carrier. You're going to get even more tips for healthy eating, fitness. We talked about the importance of self-identity when it comes to a fitness mindset, and also about how important it is to have a why. A really meaningful why when you're setting your health and fitness goals. So I know that will be helpful for you. So I wish for you to be well, to be healthy. All my love.